didn't know there'd be a test.
A test?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the TV reboots and spin-offs that retconned their narratives for the better, and the ones that just complicated the storyline. For this list, we're also including small screen continuations of movies.
Goodbye, Princess. May the Force be with you.
Number 5. Fixed. Will and Grace. In the first series finale, Will Truman and Grace Adler's friendship is on rocky ground, which isn't new, but this glimpse into the future reveals the two will reunite after not speaking for years.
This is so weird. Our kids going to the same school.
And across the hall,
I know.
Their marriages and children apparently got in the way of their friendship. Longtime fans disliked this development.
Fate brought us together, and fate was going to keep us together.
I even remember back in college, Will saying, "It's destiny." And I totally agreed.
It just doesn't gel with everything they have been through, and feels more like an underdeveloped twist than a true character development. Well, those fans are in luck.
If we had kids, then the show would be about Will and Grace's parents. And if we ignored the kids and just focused on the four of us, then we would be bad parents. And no one wants to see Will and Grace be bad parents.
The revival series finds Will and Grace having divorced their partners and living together again. Sans the children introduced in the original finale. Number 5. Created. The Golden Palace.
This is the man who's my secret lover. Just pointing out that things could get worse.
A weird season 6 storyline of The Golden Girls saw Rose Nyland's boyfriend, Miles Weber, revealing he's actually a mob informant in the witness protection program. The Golden Girls mostly sweeps that story under the rug, but one thing fans couldn't stomach is how the show's ill-advised sequel series, The Golden Palace, ended their relationship.
Oh, sweetheart, I didn't mean to fall in love with two women, but I did, and I'm very confused. Rose, I don't know what to do. At my age, I can't afford to make the wrong choice.
Miles not only cheats on Rose, but he was apparently having an affair during the events of the first show. He even has his wedding in the hotel Rose runs, with Blanche and Sophia. Given all we know of them, it just doesn't make much sense.
Honey, I'm so sorry about this.
Well, this just doesn't make any sense. Miles loves me. I know he does.
And no, it doesn't seem like his new wife knows about his past in witness protection. Number 4. Fixed. Star Trek Enterprise.
There must be some kind of mistake.
What is it?
According to his biosignature, he is Klingon.
This is a tricky one because there's a lot of lore to cut through with this franchise. The Klingons' appearance changed drastically after the original Star Trek. Other franchises tiptoed around the issue, but the spin-off found a novel way to explain the lack of forehead ridges in the 1960s version of the Klingons.
Millions of my people will have to live with this disfigurement. It'll be passed on to our children. Life won't be easy for us.
Between Enterprise and the events of the original series, the Klingons were exposed to a virus, and the cure allowed for genetic mutations seen later on. Essentially, there was now a canonical explanation why there are two very different groups of Klingons running around.
I'll need to find a new specialty. Perhaps cranial reconstruction.
Number 4. Created. Twin Peaks. Given the surreal atmosphere of Twin Peaks, it's hard to know what's the plot hole and what's just a loosey-goosey approach to time and space.
Through the darkness of future past, the magician longs to see.
When David Lynch and Mark Frost's metaphysical murder mystery returned after 25 years away, it seemed to revel in raising questions rather than answering the ones its 1991 finale left open. When is this show supposed to take place?
What year is this?
What exactly does the Manhattan Project have to do with all this? Where has Josie Packard been? Did Audrey survive the original series finale?
Are you going to stop playing games, or do I have to end your story too?
Can Laura Palmer be saved? The revival doesn't answer these questions, and if anything, it confuses us even more. Once again, Twin Peaks proves it's not a show you can approach with the goal of solving it. Number 3. Fixed. Cobra Kai.
Wait, is this the karate guy? The guy from the tournament?
Oh, this is the guy whose ass you kicked.
For years, fans of the original Karate Kid movie had a big burning question. Daniel LaRusso triumphed over his bully and rival karate student, Johnny Lawrence, using the crane kick his teacher, Mr. Miyagi, taught him. Fans swear up and down this move is actually grounds for disqualification, and the movie shouldn't have ended with Daniel's win. Even actor Ralph Macchio says the move was against the tournament's rules. Whether or not that's true, Cobra Kai addresses the years of speculation head-on. In the TV revival and semi-retelling of the movie series, Johnny challenges the legitimacy of Daniel's win, making this alleged plot hole canon.
It was an illegal kick.
Oh, illegal? Really? Come on, what about that elbow to my knee?
Yeah, I got a warning, you got the win. Whoa.
Number 3. Created. The X-Files.
Our son, Paul. I gave him up. Our son.
After over a decade away from the small screen, Mulder and Scully returned to their extraterrestrial investigating ways. One leftover storyline from the first go-around became a bigger issue in the revival.
My original name was William, I've come to learn. That's what my birth mother called me. Dana Scully.
Baby William, the child Scully gave birth to in a controversial storyline late in the show's original run, has grown up after the two abandoned him for his safety. The contradictory, constant rewriting of the baby's origins were made worse in the revival, and angered fans as Scully's actions just don't square with everything we know about her.
He was an idea, born in a laboratory.
But you were his mother.
As so much of the last season focused on the grown William as a character, it made the holes even harder to ignore. Number 2. Fixed. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Disney Plus's miniseries brought Ewan McGregor back to the role he played in the Star Wars prequel series.
Well, if you ever need my help again, you know where to find me.
Let's hope that day never comes.
It also cleared up a strange logic gap that those movies created. In the very first movie, the captured Princess Leia calls Obi-Wan Kenobi her only hope.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
But the prequels tell us that Kenobi has been thought dead between the two trilogies, so how would Leia even know he was alive to help her? Not everything in a story has to be explained, but Obi-Wan Kenobi fills in this hole with a story about Kenobi rescuing Leia from a kidnapping plot as a young girl.
Will I ever see you again?
Maybe. Someday. If you ever need help from a tired old man.
Some fans were annoyed that this opened up a few more questions, but it was fun to see the connection made. Number 2. Created. Gilmore Girls. A Year in the Life. 9 years after the show ended, Lorelai and Rory Gilmore returned in a 4-part Netflix miniseries. Fans were eager to see a lot of the wrongs done in the last 2 seasons made right.
Welcome home, Mrs. Hayden.
They were disappointed. Richard Gilmore actor Edward Herrmann's off-screen death left a void. At the character's funeral, Lorelai is put on the spot to share a good memory with her father, and she doesn't have one.
I'm 10, and I asked Dad to play hide and seek. And I went and hid in his steamer trunk, and he left and went to Holland.
It actually takes her 4 episodes to remember one. People grieve differently, but the first series is chock full of moments where the two reconnect. It seems like a willful rewrite of their dynamic for the sake of giving Lorelai something to do.
Your father was a great man. A pillar of the community, a man amongst men.
I know.
And you dishonor him today like this in his own house.
I didn't mean to dishonor him.
Number 1. Fixed. Roseanne.
I thought you were dead.
Sleeping. Why does everybody else think I'm dead?
Roseanne Barr and company delivered one of the most frustrating and controversial series finales of all time. In voiceover, her character, Roseanne Connor, told us that most of the series was actually fictional events in a book she was writing.
My sister in real life, unlike my mother, is gay. She always told me she was gay, but for some reason, I always pictured her with a man.
In just one of the many changes, her kids' spouses were switched, which opens up a huge can of worms and rewrites entire histories. But her husband Dan's devastating death by heart attack was the final gut punch.
I lost Dan last year when he had his heart attack.
When the show came back in 2018, it did away with the entire 9th season storyline and most of the revelations made in the 1997 ending, restoring the family to the dynamics we remembered.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Created, Young Sheldon. Reintroducing the fussy but brilliant Sheldon Cooper for a new generation. This Big Bang Theory prequel made a few alterations to our understanding of Sheldon's childhood.
My father's wisdom touched me deeply, which is why to this day, no matter what I'm going through, I am never irritating or abusive to any of my friends or loved ones.
The show's portrayal of his father, George Cooper Sr., is radically different from the anecdotes about him in the first show. Adult Sheldon portrays his deceased father as an alcoholic, borderline abusive rube who resented his son's intelligence.
You don't need to seek revenge.
Are you sure? Every time my dad stayed out all night, my mom would put hamster poop in his chewing tobacco.
On Young Sheldon, George is understanding and genuinely good to his family. In fact, many of the terrible things he was said to have done are addressed as misunderstandings in the prequel series.
Do you like what you see?
Yeah.
Some fans say this demonstrates Sheldon's unreliable narration, but this rewriting of his own past just makes him seem cruel. What's a TV revival that you think got it right? Tell us in the comments.
You're rich, stands alive, both single, no kids.
Got it?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.